Hello, Hockey World. How are you? Welcome to Hockey Buzz East, we call it, aka the Beach House. So, or actually, a better definition, the Beach Room, pretty much is what it is.
Yes, and welcome to the center of the hockey universe, Buffalo, New York.
Yes, that's where Mike and Russ are, and we are joined again today by a flash from the past. Previously located in the Where Are They Now column, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Rimmer. Hello, Josh.
Hello, guys.
Right. For those of you who remember the good old days of the Hockey Buzzcast, when it wasn't just about the money. Yeah, like it's ever been about the money.
Wait a second. No, never mind.
When it wasn't just about the money. No, Josh was the original, one of our originals, along with somebody I can't remember else. I heard her name was, but yeah, Josh was an original, and yeah, it's good to have everybody back today. And then Russ, of course, is in Buffalo, and me. I have so much to talk about. I think we should just get going here and start out right off the bat. So let me just pull up my notes, and then
This world is going to the dogs.
Yes. By the way, that's Panda. Hey, Panda. What's up? How you doing? It's a good dog. She's a good dog. And this is my friends at the company Bring Hockey Back. They do T-shirts and stuff like that. They really do good stuff. This is the T-shirt they sent me. This T-shirt back here, the "I'm Not Strange, I Play Goalie" T-shirt. I love that one.
Gump Worsley should have worn that one.
I know. There's some good ones. I got my daughter one that says, "You can, I don't want no ring. I want the cup." I love that. It's a great girl shirt.
I like it.
Yeah. So, and I like the idea of her not getting married for a long time since she's only 14. So it works for everybody. Thanks very much. I'm here all week. All right, so let's get started.
Yes.
And I got my notes up. And then we will get going. We also are going to be joined by Ty Anderson, who is frantically at work. Ty also does, for those of you who don't know, the Facebook page for Hockey Buzz. So there's a lot of stuff going on there today too. And I'm going to be doing some Facebook live videos later today as rumors come in too, just for fun over there. So that'll be fun, and it's just something different to do. Facebook's taking over the world, so we've got to jump on board, or else we'll be thrown in jail, as I understand it. But anyway, thanks all, everybody's. All right, here we go. Ready? I will just we'll just go.
Yeah.
So you go Mike, Josh, Russ, like that.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Here we go. Dong. It's our bell. Hello, Hockey World. It's Friday. It's Friday. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. I'm terrible. It's June 24th. All right. It's the friggin' draft. You think I would know that? I know the draft.
I haven't missed anything.
I'm talking no sleep. I'm going on no sleep at all, kids, and it's not going to get any better. Ready? Here we go. Take two. Hello, Hockey World. It's Friday, June 24th, 2016.
I'm Michael Lagello.
I'm Josh Rimmer.
I'm Russ Cohen from Sportsology, and today is like Hanukkah morning.
Hanukkah morning. And I'm Eklund, and you're watching the Hockey Buzzcast at HockeyBuzz.com, now with 25% more Canadians and 25% more Jews, too, right? There we go. So we're all set in general. But no, we're happy to have Josh Rimmer back today. How are you doing, Josh?
Doing pretty good, guys. Just here at work right now, but
awesome.
Carved some time out for you guys.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, because this is a day that we all love. This has become better than the trade deadline, in my opinion. And it really, I mean, the news is coming fast and furious. So let's start with the draft itself before we get into the rumors, because everything set to go. Russ, you're hearing anything strange at the end here? Any possible players changing, rising or?
Yeah, there's a possibility of Detroit trying to get Cam Fowler. He's a Michigan kid, so we did hear that. That's in the air. We heard about Shattenkirk maybe to Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm not all in on that. Like, I think their defense is good enough now. I understand Dave Tippett probably is looking to get like 12 defensemen based on the way his defense has been over the last few years, but that one I don't seem as likely. And then I hear that Rick Nash gave a list of teams that he'd be willing to be traded to. So I think that's a part of it as well.
12 teams for Rick Nash, huh? I mean, that's what Russ was telling me earlier.
That's the rumor.
Well, 12 teams that he would accept the trade to, not 12 teams that are interested.
Right. 12 teams
Right.
would accept trade to,
Right.
and but that's a lot. I mean, that's a pretty significant number for the no trade clause. Like you usually hear 5 teams or 8 teams. 12 teams is almost half the league.
Ironically, the name that Russ mentioned that seems to be the one that's hottest right now is Fowler. I know that Bob McKenzie came out and said it looks like he is going to get moved, just the question of where. And we've heard Detroit, we've heard Buffalo, we've heard Montreal. Those teams being mentioned in interest for him. A trade for Fowler would apparently be tied with Buffalo to their pick at number 8. The potential of a Montreal deal might have to do with their pick at number 9, but that might be contingent on if this deal for Subban happens, which I don't know if it's realistic or if it's just draft day hype. But it's really interesting, some of these deals that are being floated out there in terms of possibilities for Subban. I just don't know whether they're for real or not.
I'm hearing Cam Fowler to Boston is who I've heard, and that seems to be I wrote out there. I talked to a really good source who said that he believes there's a 90% chance Boston moves a first-round draft pick today. That's a rare thing.
We all think they're going to move the secondary one. I agree with that. The other thing, though, about Boston is they're in on every discussion about a defenseman.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if they're more all in on Cam Fowler as much as just the next guy who's up in line that they're trying to get.
Sure.
So to me, it doesn't mean they're going to be successful because of that.
Well, guys, I think a big reason why the Bruins are in every discussion looking for a defenseman is because of the health of Torrey Krug. If you guys remember, he had the offseason surgery, and a lot of people don't think he's going to be ready to start the campaign on time. I think the projected date right now is possibly November, but we all know sometimes with surgeries it could go a little bit longer. So, we could be looking at December. So they're looking for someone to fill that void on the blue line, and Chara's not getting any younger back there either.
And Ty Anderson has told us in the past that Seidenberg might be a buyout candidate, based on the way he's sort of decompensated over the last couple of years. But the name of Dmitry Kulikov is out there as well.
Yeah.
That's been mentioned, and it's been in connection with Boston as well. So I think you're right, Josh. I think any defenseman who is on the market that's not nailed down, they're going to be in on.
The kind of interesting thing is, I put out to the on a Twitter poll today just to see. I said my tweet was, I like Cam Fowler, but I don't think Cam Fowler is worth a number 1 draft pick in this draft. Now, I wondered if people thought he was worth a number 1 draft pick, and so far 2,200 people have responded, and 80% say they don't think he's worth a number 1 draft pick. Now,
this is how it's changed.
What was
we
that?
would have said he's worth it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The reason he's not worth it now is because of the cost factor of his next contract,
right,
and what he's going to give you and what you can get. Now all of a sudden, that's the way this draft has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Just in this year alone. So I wouldn't do it either. But if you'd have asked me a year or two ago, I probably would have done it. But the cap hasn't gone up either, and that's a little bit. That's it.
And you're talking cost certainty for 2 years. Fowler's making $4 million for 2 more years.
Right.
And in this market where Goligoski goes for almost 5.5 and Yandel goes for over 6, a $4 million cap hit for a guy who I think is an above-average NHL defenseman is a pretty good result.
Yeah, it's not bad. And when you think about it, I talking to one GM today. He said basically, listen, if Cam Fowler's he's a 2, 3, or 4 defenseman, probably. He's maybe not a number 1, but he's a 2, 3, or 4. And if you can get a 2, 3, or 4 defenseman, that's a guaranteed 2, 3, or 4 defenseman in the first round. You're doing okay. And not to mention the fact that Cam Fowler steps right into the lineup, right? So there's that.
You're only getting him for 2 years. If
Yeah.
you draft a guy, you're getting him for 6 years.
Right.
7, 8.
8 years, right? 8
That's a
years.
good point.
So
That's a really good point.
so that's the other part.
Sorry. The funny thing with Fowler, too, is, the draft being tonight. And Cam Fowler, if you guys remember, when the year he was drafted, he was projected to be a top pick, go first or second in the draft. And he fell all the way to, I think it was 10th?
11th.
11th?
Oh, yeah, I remember that really well.
and a lot of people projected him to be a top defenseman. He hasn't put up the numbers that a lot of people thought he would be able to do. But again, he fell all the way to 11th and was supposed to be 1 or 2 in that draft.
Well, I mean, he's 1 or 2, but top 5.
Yeah. But the thing is, he's a good defenseman. He's not a multiple all-star. He doesn't make the U.S. Olympic team. He's a good defenseman, and with the prices and the unavailability of defense in this free agent pool, and maybe the price being heavy on this in this market, a guy making $4 million is an attractive commodity.
Yeah, but if he turns into Keith Yandel for you and he puts up 55, 60 points, career highs the next 2 seasons, you may not be able to re-sign him, the same as the Rangers weren't able to re-sign Yandel. That's the worry. That's, to me, if I'm the GM, that's the worry.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate worry. I mean, I completely agree with that. And when looking at this poll question, I think it's a little unfair because I probably should have said when I was thinking of it, I was thinking in terms of Boston and Montreal. So you're talking 2 top 10 first rounders. That's a little different than just a first round draft pick in general, right? So, if I was Montreal, would I give up, my top 10? Not really. So that's to me a top 10 maybe not, but maybe Boston, they have 2. They could possibly pull it off that way.
Yep.
I think. Let's move on to a couple other things too. Obviously, the Ekblad thing, that's not surprising. That's out there. We all expected him to sign a. I'm sure if the Panthers could sign him for 20 years, they would.
Yeah, but the amount is a little interesting. I mean, the report was 8 years, $60 million, and I think he's a very, very good young defenseman. And could be one of those top guys in a few years. But we're talking $7.5 million. That's a little high.
I don't know.
Give it to him. Give it to him because the one thing that doesn't show up is, and again, if you're an analytics guy, let's say, does it show up when the other team decides not to even challenge that defenseman and go to the other side of the ice because they don't even want to deal with Ekblad?
Yeah.
That helps that helps his team because then all of a sudden they know how the other team's going to sort of go when Ekblad's on the ice, and they can make up for it and actually play better defensively. That's a big plus in his corner. There's very few defensemen in this league that players don't want to sort of go up against and tangle with, like a Darrell Revis used to be in the NFL.
Right.
And so I think that's why he's worth it. And it gives you offense, obviously, a lot of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so that's a great. I think it's a great move. The we wanted to. I've heard about Lucic now. Edmonton, Florida, Vancouver, all 3 teams. And there's probably more. It's funny when you think about Lucic. It's impossible to imagine for me that he is 28 years old. Like he seems so much older than 28 years old. He came into the league very young, right? So
I think 20.
And he plays such a physical game. It just seems like he is only. One of the people I talked to, he said, "Why wouldn't we be interested in him? He's only 28 years old." It's just he seems.
Well, here's the problem, though. So, like for Vancouver, as much as I think they're interested in him because he's from the area, he did have off the ice issues in Vancouver, and that has sort of muddied it up with fans, and a lot of fans don't even want to see him there.
Yeah.
And so, like, if they were to sign him, they might get a portion of the fan base really annoyed with that.
But like I mentioned before, Russ, those incidents were when he was with public enemy number 1, the Bruins, and after.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. Like I've been told that sentiment still exists in Vancouver, that they still hold that grudge. A lot of fans.
I know that he said some disparaging remarks about his hometown after the fact, like he would never want to go back there or something like that. So yeah, but honestly, he signs there, I think all would be good.
Does anybody else think that Jim Benning has lost his mind?
To that,
I don't mean to be a jerk about it, but there's a couple things. That he comes out and he says he's interested in Lucic. That's fine. That's good. It really isn't such a big deal because they can, and apparently, you're even Lombardi's even letting people talk to him, right? So that's good. But
right.
When he came out and said that he was talking to Montreal about Subban, that's something that's a huge no-no, like in the hockey world.
And he mentioned Stamkos too.
Right. You're talking about. He just has no filter at all.
Well, here's the thing with Benning, guys, and I think it has a lot to do with what's been happening in Vancouver.
Yeah.
A lot of the moves that they made, I'd say in the last year, there's been a lot of fans of Vancouver complaining about Benning. I think Benning is maybe going out on a limb a little bit and hoping to show his organization and also the fans that Vancouver wants to be a contender. And I think by him going and doing that, he's hoping that's going to smooth it over a little bit, because every time we see the Canucks make a trade, I'll go in the chat rooms and I'll see all the Vancouver fans bashing Benning and Linden and the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
The fact that they're moving picks away for guys that they shouldn't be moving picks for. So I think that has something to do with it too.
Well,
I think that's fair.
And it was reported about an hour ago that the NHL is looking into Benning's comments because Subban is obviously under contract for Montreal, and Stamkos is not. Teams cannot talk to Stamkos, and it may be sort of quasi tampering chart. Even you can't really even mention. Remember, Josh, a few years ago, Ron Wilson made comments about the Sedins on the Fan 590 in Toronto the day before, and he got fined by the NHL for tampering.
I remember that.
Oh, remember that? Yeah. And part of this also I think comes back to last year at this time when we did a show. It was I think on July 1st actually, and we talked about how Benning was doing nothing at all. And he was doing and he got a lot of criticism for really just not doing anything. So maybe this is him just like you're saying, Josh, just saying I'm doing things.
Exactly. It look like he's doing something out there.
Right. So because I might not get them done, but I'm trying.
Exactly. Exactly.
Go ahead, Russ.
No, I think that's what it is. I think he's trying. I think, he's a fairly new GM, so he may not be as skilled as disguising it as others, and I think that's all it is.
Okay, let's go into the PK Subban situation. We talked about this yesterday, and I don't want to talk too much about this, but it did bear talking about. I honestly think it's just gotten crazy out of hand, and I think this is unprofessional on Montreal's part.
Come on.
I do. I'm just. And also,
geez. Okay. PK Subban is a great guy. He's done a lot for the Montreal community. He's under contract to that organization. If they want to trade him, they can trade him. He's not a saint. He's not like
No, he's not a saint.
Mary or something.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying he's a saint, but he is there's a good chance you can't trade him. Okay, there's a good chance even if you want to trade him, you're not going to trade him because you can't get enough. You have to deal with him for the rest of his contract. Okay.
Well, that's the whole point of this. They're not going to trade him unless they get enough. That's
but that tells if that is like okay, I'm going to use a Russ analogy. Someone said the other day, Russ, that you're the king of analogies, and you are. I'm going to use one. I'm going to use a Russ analogy here. This is like I'm going to marry you, but only if I can't find someone better by next Thursday. All right, so that's fine. I'm just tell a woman that you're going to marry, and I'll be with you for the rest of my life, and I love you. But if I find someone better by next Thursday, sorry. That's what's. So yeah, I probably chances of me finding someone by next Thursday, not very good. Chance of me, finding another person who would marry me in my lifetime, horrible. But I found one person, I'm lucky, right? So, but when I look at this thing, I'm like, this is what's happening. So, and remember, there was somebody who told me yesterday. I had a long talk with a beat writer in Montreal, and he said that they're really, really trying hard to get Stamkos in Montreal. That's he thinks the secret thing underneath this. Okay, and that no, I think that they are.
I know.
No, I think that they are. I think they legitimately are trying to. They are going to get into that sweepstakes. And if you're doing that, okay, remember what is they said, oh, you're trading Subban to make space. Well, no, wait a second. Isn't Subban the biggest attraction for Stamkos?
They're best friends. They're best friends.
And if that's the case, what is Subban saying? Cora, come on over. They treat you great here. This is a great place to play hockey.
Which is indicative of the fact that Stamkos is not going to Montreal, because if he was going to Montreal, then they wouldn't be toying with the idea of trading Subban. I think right now what this is this is a fishing expedition by Marc Bergevin. He's putting it out there. It's out there for everybody to hear. He's seeing what he can get offered. Will he pull back from the brink? Maybe. But if he gets an offer that bowls him away, why wouldn't you do it? Because honestly, they were the second or third worst team in the league last year with PK Subban playing. That team revolves around Carey Price. It is painfully clear that's the case.
All right, look, I'm going to make a declaration here.
Go ahead, Russ. Please make a
In case
declaration.
Subban gets traded sometime during the draft, I will wear X hair gel for the next 30 days.
I don't use hair gel, Russ. I would have no problem if I did, but I don't. This is what this is called. This is called jumping out of the shower. But yeah, no, but you're fine. You're totally. I'm up for that. You can take a shower right before the show if you'd like to. And your hair wouldn't matter anyway. So I think I'm the only one with hair here. So let's just talk about that, all right? But at the end of the day, this is just. I don't know. Mike, I know what you're saying. Of course they can trade anybody, and he's not a saint, and I get that he's not a saint. But you have to deal with the fact that he's going to be on your team for a long time after this.
Well,
Like, I want to compare it to the Malkin situation, okay? Because I know a lot of people are saying that Malkin's not available, and I know that Pittsburgh is saying that Malkin's not available, and that is the point. Pittsburgh is handling I honestly think that both are almost identical. That teams are calling for both. That they're not shopping either. Malkin or Subban aren't being shopped, but teams are calling about both. Yet Montreal's sitting there saying, yeah, we're taking calls on him. And Pittsburgh is saying he's not available. So that Pittsburgh is doing this the right way, Montreal is doing it the wrong way.
Well, the whole point of this is that Subban's no-move clause kicks in on July 1st.
Right.
At that point, it's under Subban's control. He's the
Right.
one. You know, if I want to go, I'll go. But if I want to stay, screw you, Montreal. That's the point. Right now, Montreal's saying, well, we're going to look at this because the option of whether we want to keep him or not is out of our hands at 12:01 on July 1st. So that's why I think it's a fishing expedition. They're looking at every possible avenue. If they get an offer that bowls them over, they might do it because they might think that would be beneficial to their team.
I think Bergevin's what he's doing is fine. I think he's just exploring before the July 1st kick-in. That's all of that. Of his no move. I think more teams are going to do it like this in the future because if the cap keeps creeping up very slowly, you've got to make sure you're 100% that you're comfortable with that guy and not what you're passing up. That's all.
Agreed.
Okay, Josh, what are your thoughts on the way this has all gone down?
You know what? I've been thinking about this the last 24 hours, the whole PK Subban stuff, and you know what? I think Bergevin is basically seeing what he can get for him, and he's not looking at trading him. He's just curious at what kind of return he could get on him, and he put that out there to somebody, and someone leaked it, and that's why we're talking about it right now, is because a team told someone in the media, obviously, that Subban was possibly possibly could get moved. I think right now Bergevin's got a mess what's going on in Montreal with this whole thing, and I think it's smart if he holds on to him. I mean, you know how hard it is. I mean, you guys know how hard it is to get a number one defenseman in the league and to draft one even in the draft. It's highly impossible. So if Montreal wants to continue being a contender, they got to hold on to him. There's been rumors out there over the last year that maybe he hasn't got along with some of the players, maybe some of the coaches. But you know what? He's a huge asset, and he's a guy that you got to keep if you're planning on, trying to make it to the playoffs. I mean, here in Canada, we didn't have one Canadian team make the playoffs this year. Montreal's one of those teams that really wants to, make an impact now and not build for the future.
Okay.
And nothing lowers the value of a player more than it being rumored that he's available. Yeah. Then everybody's like, oh, there must be something wrong. So, I mean, it makes sense for a team that might have been interested in him to leak it and say he's available because, okay, well, now we won't have to pay 3 first-round picks. We can maybe trade 2 firsts and a second.
Well, Vancouver, in a way, did leak it, but also before Vancouver leaked it, I mean, everybody knew this day was coming, right? Because of like you say, the no trade clause. So really, how this got out was they just didn't deny it. Like they went to him many times, Bergevin, and they said, oh, Subban's, his no trade clause kicks in. Are you going to trade him possibly? And he said, well, we'll think about it. That's how this whole thing got out. Now, every leak, this Draisaitl rumor yesterday, none of that's coming from Edmonton. It's all coming from Montreal people, at least from what I'm hearing. So
they're not trading Draisaitl. They're not.
No, and so to me, Montreal was throwing out that rumor pretty intensely to try to say we have a big offer on the table. Everyone else pony up. That's what it seemed like was happening. The fascinating thing was that press conference not starting until 7, right, when it was supposed to start at 5:30, and the 90 minutes that goes on there when all this is happening really built it up. And I think that this was pretty good theater. Like, I think that what was happening here. And how many of you out there, I'll put my hand up first, were like sitting there wishing you just knew French a little bit better, because he does the press conference first in French, and I'm hearing jamais Matt Subban. I'm like, okay, that means never. Never Subban, never. And we figured it out pretty quickly, but that was funny. And my daughter, who's in her 5th year of French, I'm like, come on down here, you got to help me with this and make sure we figure out what the hell he's saying. But yeah, that was fun.
Go to Google Translate and you'll be okay.
Yeah, but it was a live press conference, and I'm like, this is really important news.
They don't have that.
No, not live like that. So that's that. We'll see.
We should get televisions that have the translation button.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure that exists already, but
I think we're asking too much, Josh, because you watch the closed caption in some shows now, and it's so bad that like if I was deaf, I would turn the TV off because it'd be too damn frustrating.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
So we're in a bit of a calm before the storm type feeling here right now today. Like, I woke up very early with a lot of stuff happening, and it's definitely slowed down.
I think Russ has an interesting theory on.
I don't think so. I don't think it's slowed down. I just think the league has asked them to not leak any of this, so they had stuff to announce.
They're going underground.
Yes.
That could be.
I think that's very likely, because nothing gets the buzz of the crowd more at the draft than we have a trade to announce. And if Gary actually wants to get cheers tonight, he'll save a lot of those, because we know he's going to get viscerally booed at the very beginning, and he'll cut his speech short just to get the Maple Leafs out there, so 10,000 Leaf fans who've paid $200 a seat can cheer when Austin Matthews gets picked.
And can we just address that for a second? Do we have to boo Gary Bettman every time he appears in public?
I don't. I'm not going to boo him.
No, well, obviously. But if you were a fan, would you be booing him? No,
or goes on the ice to present the cup.
Well, it's horrible. It's a disgrace, in my opinion.
The worst was in Philadelphia 2 years ago.
Oh, I know. And to his credit, man, he gets up there and he just takes it. He just does it. And I've talked to him. I've said to him, "Why do you do this?" I've said it directly to him.
Yeah, if you make a joke of it too, Ak.
He does. In Philadelphia, he was really good. In Philadelphia, he actually turned it around nicely into a pretty good,
Yeah, if you pay me what they're paying Bettman, I'll smile through being booed for a couple hours.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's crazy. There are also, can we just also say something? Stop the fake rumor accounts. My God. It's like every year this comes up, right? But it's unbelievable this year. It's like people are saying, "Oh, did you see what Darren Dreger tweeted?"
Now it's getting even worse. That there are people out there who are faking team.
I know.
Twitter. Yeah. I saw the Boston Bruins have traded for something, and it was the NHL BRUIMS instead of NS. It's like, oh my God, get a freaking life.
I know there was
made one about me at deadline day this year. Not on there anymore, but
yeah, no. It's constant. You know what? What were you saying, Josh? There, sorry.
I said someone made one of me too. At deadline day.
Excellent. That means
it doesn't exist anymore. But
you've made it the second you're given. That second someone fakes you.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing. And it's just, to me, like, I'm thinking about all these people graduating college sitting there saying, you know what I'm going to be when I grow up? I'm going to be a fake Darren Dreger Twitter account. That's like, holy cow.
That's too much to aspire to. Be a fake.
Aspire to be the best fake Twitter account I can be.
To be honest, I think if I had a fake doctor's account, my mother would be proud of me. I do.
If you're gonna fake something, fake a doctor. Don't fake Darren Dreger. For crying out, nothing against Dreger, but Yakupov is another one I want to bring up because he's a really interesting one today too, and he, I have heard, is going to move today. If I was to pick one player that's going to move today, for sure, it would, you'd have Shattenkirk, you have Fowler, and I would have Yakupov in there too. I think he's on his way out too.
It's just a question whether he's going to be traded separately or as part of a bigger deal. And I think for Edmonton to get value, it would have to be as part of a bigger deal. That would make sense. I mean, I think that there are teams out there willing to give, former #1 pick. He's only making $2.5 million. He's got a lot of talent. Everybody knows that he's sort of been misused in Edmonton. He needs to go someplace else and get a new start. And a place like Montreal or a place like Philadelphia, someplace else that would give him a top 6 role.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for him, but I think it's going to be part of a bigger deal, not just one.
We did get some confirmation yesterday that it's definitely more than a third-round pick.
Yeah.
That third-round pick was just the pick portion of it. There's definitely more involved. So, like, that whole thought that, hey, you could get him for a third, like, if really that were the case, he'd be gone already.
Right. The third was what teams were offering, not what Edmonton is looking for. That was the clarification.
Right.
I could see Montreal being the destination for Yakupov. I mean, they would be a perfect place, as Mike just said, to get his career going. He could go and play with his buddy Galley. I mean, they grew up together, and I think that is the motivation maybe that he needs to kind of get going and also get that top 6 role like Michael was talking about.
Yeah, then they could sign Semin again and make a line. Oh, never mind.
Oh, man. I really want to see Yakupov, and he kind of reminds me of there's a lot of players like Yakupov who come through the league that they play very, very well with other really talented players, with other skilled players. Like in a way, Ville Lena was like this in Philly, where he was sort of a disaster, but when you put him with really talented players, he was very good.
Right.
I think this is what we obviously saw what Yakupov did with Connor McDavid for a short period of time last year, and he looked like he was a first-round draft pick again. Like he looked like he could be that guy.
It does work that way with Buzzcast too, just so you know.
Oh man, that's really funny. I like that. Very, very good. I know. So what does that mean? What are you saying, Russ? Exactly.
I'm just saying that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, because I feel like I'm carrying the boat. Is that what you're saying?
You could be.
Oh, it's always possible. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So let's talk Stamkos. Why not? Right? Okay. There's another guy who's supposedly going to be in the rumor mill today.
Well, 12:01 tonight.
Yeah.
Team talk to Steven Stamkos. So I think we can put away the trade his negotiating rights, because now it's what the hell is the point? You can
All
talk.
right. So what does that mean that Tampa hasn't traded his negotiating rights?
I'll tell you what I think it means. I think it means they gave him their price. He'll go out and try and find other work and see if there's some place that's a better fit, and they'll ask him to come back and bring in the offer, and then it'll be up to them whether they, the boss upstairs decides to override the GM and pay a little higher to keep him or let him go.
Now, this is the thing, and I've, following the NFL like I did in my younger days, I don't know if I had $1 for every time I heard about a free agent who had said that I'm gonna give you the first right of refusal. I'm gonna go out and shop my wares, and I'm gonna come back and offer you a chance to match. And I would say 9 times out of 10, that player ends up being gone. I think that if Stamkos gets to the open market, I remember you said a couple days ago, you could have double digits worth of teams bidding on him. I think once he gets to the brink and you've got double-digit teams offering him different options, it's very unlikely he goes back to Tampa, unless it's just unless teams that he doesn't think can contend are offering him the most money. I think he will find a situation that he likes, and that and maybe he goes back to Tampa and offers. But if somebody's offering $11 million, I don't think he's going to take 9 from Tampa.
Yeah, no, then that's
the risk you take when you let a player of his quality go out there and shop for offers. He's going to find something that he likes, and then he's going to say, guys, if you can match this, fine, but if you can't, I like this, I'm gone.
But the other thing is that go ahead, Russ.
I was going to throw one other thing into the mix. Sorry.
Either one.
So with Great Britain leaving the EU and having their economy, like basically the European economy, in a state of flux, does that affect Canada enough that maybe the price isn't even going to be as high from the Leafs now? I think there's a chance of that.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance. That won't affect anything, Russ. Nothing.
Now, let me ask you guys this.
A lot of people are waking up with a lot less money today.
Let Josh go.
Let me ask you guys about this. Do you fault Steve Yzerman for not trading Stamkos before he becomes unrestricted? I mean, you would think that it would have been great if he got some kind of a deal for him at least. I know he didn't know for sure if he was going to sign or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is another superstar player that we're going to see walk without him basically getting anything unless he does move his rights here.
Yeah, but look what other teams have gotten for pending UFAs. You're talking a 5th-round pick for Alex Goligoski, a 6th and a 4th for Keith Yandel. Best case scenario, Tampa, if they trade Stamkos' negotiating rights, they probably get a 2nd-round pick. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, but.
Yeah, but they should have done that last year, right? They should have traded him last year when they thought that maybe we weren't going to be able to sign him.
Yeah.
But they were on a cup run, so they weren't going to do that. But the thing is, and he was hurt until they got in deep into the playoffs. I think at the end of the day, they're looking at it like they get an extra week to negotiate with him, and they must think that there's some sort of chance. Otherwise, he would have gotten something. I think that's really what it is.
And remember, July 1st of last year, the no move clause kicked in. So they at that point couldn't trade his rights, or couldn't trade him without his say so. And I think
Sorry, I just got it. I'm sorry. Jeez, I'm getting crazy texts.
Sounds it.
This is interesting too. So this is just a text I just got now from 2 people at the same time. It's really funny when this happens. You heard the 2. I have different text tones for different people. You heard the 2 different text tones. So this might be ridiculous, but I have text tones based on the division they're in, based on So I know it's just something that I've done a long time. I have
So my text tone is the Emperor's March from Star Wars.
Right. Now your text tone, be different than Russ's because you guys, Russ is in the Metro. I think of Russ as a Ranger guy. You're a Leaf guy. Anyway, so these are 2 different people. This goes along with what I heard earlier today, that it's possible that Zdeno Chara is in play. And this is a surprise. I mean, we know that if Chara is going to be moved, it's going to be because Chara wants to be moved. I mean, it's up to Chara. It's that kind of thing, right? So, both 2 of the 3. Okay, I'll put this. 2 of the 3 texts say it was to a contending team.
Yeah.
And a team in the Western Conference. So,
LA.
There's 2 teams that come to mind because I was thinking about this earlier because I got the one earlier, but I didn't write about it. I'm going to write about it now. But LA's one, Mike, you're right, and then the other team I think would be Dallas.
Yes.
And I did briefly talk to Ty Anderson about this morning about what he thought, and he said he really wouldn't be totally surprised by that, but he said he agreed that it would definitely be up to Chara. It would be Chara's call.
Especially with what is going on with Dallas's defense right now. I mean, Jason Demers is probably going to sign someplace else because he's getting offered over $5 million a year. They've already lost Goligoski. They have Klingberg, and they have a couple other okay defensemen. They have a lot of young guys like Julius Honka and Esa Lindell who may be coming up, but they also need that veteran stabilizing force, and a guy like a Chara would make sense. He wouldn't have to play 25 minutes a night. He could probably play a lesser role, second pairing, but he would provide stability. And that might make sense with that team going in the direction of having a young defense.
Yeah, very interesting. I'll definitely keep on top of that for sure as the day goes here. So before we get out of here today, I wanted to see if we had one more prospect, Russ, that we could throw in there today.
One more prospect that we could throw in. Let's talk about Michael McLeod. He's a good one because he plays in Mississauga. He's one of the faster guys in the draft. The way this guy gains the offensive zone, he does it like a pro. It's amazing. But the only drawback for him is he will gain the offensive zone sometimes before the other guys are set up or before he knows what they're going to do, and then doesn't know what to do with the puck sometimes. If he had a better handle on that, he would even be a better goal scorer, but he's got all the other tools. He is a good face-off guy. He is a two-way guy. He's got good size, and he's a centerman, and this is not the strongest of centerman drafts, so he's one of the premier centermen. He's probably going to go somewhere between 12 and 16, and he's a quality kid. I like him. but I don't know if I could fix the hockey IQ part. I think, the right coach could. So I think that's going to, it's going to be, you got to match him up with the right team, but if you do, you could really strike gold with him.
Yeah, no, that's the.
I saw McLeod play a couple times this year. Played on a line with Alex Nylander, who's going to be a top 10 pick, and Nathan Bastian, who might go in the first round. He does have, he's a very big kid with speed. I was impressed with his speed. But I mean, there are some projections that say he's going to go in the top 15, and that basically he might grade out as a third-line center, which sort of doesn't really compute, because if he's a top 15 pick, you would think that he would compute to be a guy who's a top 6 forward. But there seems to be some doubt and some ability or some limitations on what his ability can be. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes and who he goes to.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got, Josh?
Just a rumor that's floating out there right now that the Avalanche are talking to the Panthers about Kulikov. I don't know if you've heard that at all, or if that's out there already.
No, just
heard
Kulikov's being
Kulikov's
mentioned, but
out there.
not specifically, no. Mm-hmm.
But apparently Patrick Waugh has been a big fan of Kulikov for the last few years, and actually has tried to trade for him a couple of times. That's according to Adrian Dater. But it looks like Colorado is speaking to Florida about Kulikov, and I think that rumor came out earlier today about Kulikov.
Yep.
I will say this. I think Colorado won the Grimaldi trade because they basically traded for a forward that in the right position I think could get 50 points,
Right.
where they're basically making Rito Berra a backup goalie, which he might even have more ability than that. But now you basically traded a guy who could be a second, third line guy for them for a backup goalie. So that I think Colorado's doing good things right now. I do.
Yeah, and Barrow was stuck behind Varlamov and Pickard, and was under a contract for another year, and Al Montoya is a UFA in Florida. So they basically traded for a pretty good backup to back up Luongo. And Berra, I think, is capable of playing 25 to 30 games, whereas they may not have thought that Montoya was anymore.
Interesting here, too.
Right.
Another Colorado thing, Matt Duchene, whose name has been mentioned a couple times. I would be surprised if he was moved. I really would. I think we've talked about this before, but there is a rumor that Montreal called about Matt Duchene. So,
yeah, but that's an old rumor, Act. That's.
Don't call my rumor old, man. It's brand new.
No.
This is a brand new. It's been discussed before, but this is a brand new rumor.
It's a recycled rumor because I've heard the Subban Duchene speculation for a couple months.
I don't think this is for Subban, though.
I
texted the person about it. This is not Subban, so this is not.
Okay.
Well, hey, guys, if you have an extra 30 seconds, I've got a Finnish country singer here who's willing to take us out with a country song.
Fantastic.
You don't want to?
Can I mute my computer first?
A couple bars. Come on, hold on. Come on. You don't want to do it? No. All right. No, he's not going to do it. Oh well.
There's nobody in that house, Russ. We know that. We know you're just sitting alone in that house.
What's his name? Hank Radicalio Jr.?
I'm not going to give his name because since he didn't want to do it, I'm going to protect his identity.
Anonymity. There you go.
Also on Flyers real quick, and then we can get into, I think we're going to talk about the biggest impact tonight, and then we'll get out of here. The Flyers are very much trying to get to number 4 or 5, and possibly even 3. I heard, which would take a lot to get to, but
the question is for what purpose?
To get a forward. I mean, they want to get
Like
spring.
Matthew Tkachuk, like the rest of the world likes Matthew Tkachuk. That's
Right.
why.
Exactly.
But the idea of them being able to trade to get that is you're going to have to. Braden Shen and picks is not going to cut it. You're going to have to trade Claude Giroux if you want to do it.
Sanheim and Braden Shen and picks, no?
Nope, won't do it.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay Braden Shen. Braden Shen,
Right.
he's up for a new deal, so it's not like you're getting him on an entry level deal. You're going to have to pay him $4 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, they're
Trade
trying.
Claude Giroux, then I think they have a chance.
Yeah, whether or not they're going to, I mean, who knows how high they're going to get, but I would not be surprised at all if they do move up slightly at some point.
I think they'll move up slightly. I don't think they'll make it that high.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so who's going to make the biggest splash tonight? Let's talk about the biggest impact tonight. I am going to start with Josh on this one. Josh?
You know what? I really feel the Edmonton Oilers are going to make a splash.
Okay.
I think they're going to trade possibly 2, maybe even 3 guys in the next
Isn't it a little
24
bit like the boy who cried wolf with the Edmonton Oilers, isn't it? I mean, doesn't it feel like every year we say this?
I know, but Peter Chiarelli definitely feels he's got to do something here, and I really believe the Oilers are going to be working the phones very heavily here in the next 24 hours.
Okay.
I'll go. I think it's going to be the Buffalo Sabres, actually, because I think, just like Carolina, if they could trade up higher than 8, they will. But if they can't, look, if they get Jacob Chikrin or someone like that, that's a good start. But then I think they'll do some other things, too. So I think they're going to really try and make a splash with their fans. They're already talking to, they got VC's rights. They may be talking to Stamkos soon. Maybe they're going to get Stamkos' rights, even for a short time. But I think they're going to really try and make a splash, and I'm going to go with the Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres. All right, Mike?
There's no bigger splash than the number 1 overall pick. So the biggest splash will be 10,000 people at the First Niagara Center cheering as Austin Matthews wears the new Maple Leaf jersey. And I think, if you're talking about the weekend, I think there's a possibility that Lou Lamoriello is going to pull off 1 or 2 trades. I think Tyler Bozak could be traded at the draft.
Yeah.
And that's not a big impact move, but I also think, like I said, at 12:01 on Saturday, everybody can talk to one Steven Stamkos, and that will start everything rolling.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring your tissues to the draft tonight, Michael?
My tissues? What?
Yeah. Well, you're getting emotional already.
Here's joy as Austin Matthews takes to the stage. No, Josh. I'm going
Since the Randall Clark draft, has Mike been this choked up?
No, he's wiping his eyes. Jeez.
You know what I'm really surprised? Also, it looks like the Erickson talks.
Josh, I'm a professional.
Just as an aside, looks like the Erickson talks with the Bruins have not worked out. They were trying to get together again to make another stab at it, but I was just texted that it's not going to happen.
Okay, the two most hilarious and ridiculous negotiations leading up to free agency have been Lucic and the Kings and Erickson and the Bruins. Everybody and their brother knew that these guys were not those teams were not going to sign those players for the amount of money that they were looking for. They were gone to free agency as soon as the season was ended. So I don't know why there's big shock that Lucic is going to free agency and Erickson's going to the market. I don't get it.
All right, my biggest splash, and I'm with you, Mike, on that one, is I think going to be the Montreal Canadiens, and I don't know how they're going to do it. It could be Yakupov, it could be PK Subban, it could be something else. It could be Duchesne, it could be Shattenkirk. There's a lot of things that Montreal's in on.
I heard Yuppie's on the block, but I don't know if that's true.
Who?
Yuppie.
Yeah, no, Yuppie's he's got a lifetime contract.
I don't think he does. I think it's shaky now.
They're going to trade Michel Therrien for Mike Johnston.
I mean, Yuki's like the first crossover mascot in history. I mean, he's got to be like,
Well, the San Diego Chicken. He was all over the place.
No.
Not
He didn't
really,
go for different sports, Mike. You're wrong. This is like, you got to respect the mascot history. You're talking different sports. He's a 2-sport mascot.
Okay.
Just got another that's down to the Bruins in Arizona. I just got a text about that again for Shattenkirk. So, as I say, Montreal's in on Shattenkirk. Maybe they aren't. But this is a...
And if Boston makes that trade, the first that they're trading is not going to be their 14th overall. It'll be the second one. It'll be the 29th pick.
Not 29th.
Because they're probably going to draft a defenseman with that pick in the middle of the first round.
What about Bishop? Where do you guys think Bishop's going?
I think he's staying in Tampa.
For one more year.
In Tampa.
For one more year, I think he stays in Tampa. But I've heard Calgary is making.
I'm sure
a
they're
big
trying.
push. They really are, and but like I said, Calgary and Reimer is a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities with Calgary as well.
I'll tell you something right now, Ak. If Reimer is a possibility in Calgary, then I think Bernier is a possibility in Calgary too. It's a 1-year contract.
I guess I don't know who Mr. Burke has better memories of, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like,
well, he didn't trade. He didn't trade for Bernier.
But he had him.
No one has traded for him.
I mean, they're going to go with that theory. He might bring out John Sebastian Giguère out of retirement.
Yeah, but his groin is shredded, so that's not going to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Ericsson's rights traded to Vancouver.
Yes.
Throw that out there.
That could happen.
If this negotiation, the fact that they worked on this, they're trying to get a deal done today, tells me that there's something up there, because they didn't have to get it done today necessarily.
Well, only if they have an agreement in place, because again, in 9 hours and 57 minutes, they can talk to him without trading his rights.
Right. That's for sure. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Montreal. I think we're gonna see what happens with Montreal today. I really hope they don't trade Subban, but if they do, they do. And
well, that would be the biggest splash. If Subban gets traded, that would be the biggest splash. So I'm hoping that Montreal makes the biggest splash.
Subban, what's the bigger story? Stamkos signing somewhere or Subban getting traded?
Stamkos signing somewhere.
I think Subban getting traded is a bigger story.
Subban being traded.
Because everyone knows Stamkos is going to sign somewhere, right? So
Right.
Subban is.
I agree.
But it depends on where he signs. If he re-signs back in Tampa, you're right. It's Subban. If Stamkos signs someplace else, I think that's the biggest story of the offseason.
So wait, if Stamkos signs a contract with Sport Check, does that count or no?
That's not a team. That's a company.
All right.
They're not affiliated with a team.
Yep. I won't be happy till I have 25 fake Eklunds on Twitter today. That's what I'm shooting for, guys. So just I have at least 13 that I've found now. So someone keeps telling me, and even someone said that's a great picture of you. I'm like, what picture of me? It's like, all right, okay.
The picture with Austin Matthews?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it yesterday.
Where is that from?
Our friend Greg tweeted it out.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
I haven't even seen it.
It's a nice picture. It's you interviewing Austin Matthews I think it's at the final, at the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, no, I was definitely interviewing Austin Matthews at the Stanley Cup Finals, but
yeah,
I have to find that picture. I have not seen it.
Yep. No,
he's a nice guy. He's a nice kid. Really nice kid.
Yep.
And I talked to Danny Briere today about the fact that Briere is his favorite player of all time, and Danny said he. What was that?
I smell a comeback. Briere can play on his wing.
No. Briere's like he said he met him like 15 years ago, when he was just a kid still, and he's still a kid, but 15 years ago, geez, that's what he's like.
4 years old. He was 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, and then they met again this past summer, and I'm gonna try to get him on the BuzzCast together. I think it'd be fun.
Speaking of comebacks, Zach, and
yes.
I know you want to wrap it up here. When Randy Carlyle got named the head coach of the Anaheim Ducks, I wondered for a couple minutes, could Solani possibly want to come back now? Because the rumor was he retired because Bruce Boudreau became the head coach. He didn't get along with Bruce when he was the head coach with the Ducks. So maybe could Solani still play? I saw him a couple months ago. He looks like he can still play.
He does look like he still could play. Except you all saw the video of him falling into the lake when he was golfing, right? I mean, that was like pretty crazy.
He's not coming back.
No, but that's pretty funny. I thought you were gonna go to Brizgala, Josh. I did. I thought that's where you were gonna go.
No. Who? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I mean the second Anderson was traded, I'm like, well, there you go. Briz is gonna be the backup back in Anaheim. That's where he's going. Well, guys, listen. Enjoy the draft tonight. We'll be on. I'm going to be doing some stuff on Facebook. I'll be doing stuff on Snapchat. All over the place. And we're going to be going right to the draft. Of course, I'm going to be updating the rumor tracker, and along with other folks from Hockey Buzz, please, other folks from Hockey Buzz, put some rumors up on the rumor tracker too. If you see something reported from somebody else, put it up there.
And I'll be updating my blog throughout the draft with any Leaf-related material. So follow me on Twitter at Mike and Buffalo.
It starts at 7, right? Mike and Buffalo on Twitter. It starts at 7 p.m.
Sportsology on Twitter. Josh Rumor Hockey on Twitter.
Yep.
Axman on Twitter.
Yes, indeed. Accept no imitations. Okay. Remember, without the buzz, folks, it is just hockey. We will talk to you later. I'm not going to say we're going to be back on Monday. I think we're going to be back before that. So we'll talk to you soon. Have fun. Enjoy.